mic on, wouldn't it? Hi everyone, welcome to Newcastle Fans TV. Hi, we're not all experts at audio. It's been a while since we've done a live video, so just thought, let's wrap this together. All of us have been busy, back after the bank holiday, a fantastic way journey down to Spurs, which I'll briefly touch upon. And yeah, everyone's been back at work. Congratulations to Kyle as well. He might be in the live chat somewhere, but he's done well. He's passed his exams today, so well done, Kyle. Big shout out to you. Paul for driving daft all across the UK in the last 2 days as well. So yeah, so back to why you're tuning in a live preview for the Leicester game as well, rather than putting a video out which will go out with daft o'clock, because look, we've all got jobs at the end. Yes, I know there was no sound before, apologies. I can see in the live chat over there. But yeah, so touching upon, of course, we're getting on to Leicester at the moment, but you know, the weekend, as I touched upon already, as I've seen it in a few videos already, it was a sensational, not just a sensational win, it was a sensational stadium, it was a sensational performance to go with the win. It was an absolutely red hot day. It was 33 degrees down London. Absolutely, it's going to be one of those moments throughout the season, and possibly even the past 5 to 10 years. Where were you when we beat Spurs? It was like one of them. Were you there? Did you soak in the atmosphere? I mean, all of us were mentally drained. Yes, I've seen all the chemistry and a bit of banter in the videos and everything, but it was just all round. It was absolutely fantastic day out for everybody, and it tops it off with a great win. I think Steve Bruce really needed that win, probably more than what Newcastle did, to be fair as well. But fantastic day out, and moving swiftly on, the games come thick and fast, don't they? So Leicester City on, well, tomorrow night or tonight, depending on when you're watching this video as well. But of course, Mason's just mentioned Jose Perez. Of course, why is Perez hated all of a sudden? He was a good player when it was needed. He deserved more. We'll touch upon Jose Perez in a moment, Mason. But of course, Leicester City, depending on when you're watching this video, if you're watching the rerun of this, it could be tonight by the time you're watching it, or tomorrow, whenever you're watching this anyway. But you couldn't have asked for a more difficult draw, could you? The two teams that you probably want to avoid was Everton and Leicester, and we've pulled Leicester out, who I personally think will go further than Everton this season. It's the only benefit really is probably a home tie, but it's going to be tough no matter what side Brendan Rodgers puts out. And it doesn't matter what side. I know we'll talk about Newcastle in a moment, but Steve Bruce has a lot of injury concerns and likely to see a lot of players come back in the rotated side. However, we'll touch upon Leicester, and then once we've talked about Leicester, we'll have a look at what you're saying in the live chat as well. But I know it's early doors, but if you have a look at that league table now, Leicester have started fantastically well. If you're putting on a bet on any team to try and break into that top 6, I think you'll probably look at Leicester first, and then possibly maybe Everton, maybe Wolves as an outside bet. But for me, I think Leicester going forward are going to cause a lot of teams. I know they've only scored 3 and 3, but already sitting on 5 points unbeaten, conceding the 2 goals. Going forward, they are a massive threat. And again, it doesn't matter which side Brendan Rodgers puts out. His fullbacks like to push on. Danny Simpson, who was on gold on Sunday, was saying that he left the club because he wasn't going to be first choice, and the fullbacks are now so far advanced with the likes of Perez and Chilwell. But you can see that league table already. They started really well, and it is going to be a difficult afternoon for the Toon. Live chat keeps messing up. Depending on what side he puts out, of course, depending on what side Steve Bruce puts out as well. Over in Periscope, would you be surprised if someone like Il Nacho scores tomorrow night? Good shout. If he starts as well, can you say he's getting European football next season, says Chris? No, I think it's, in all honesty, I know it's a fantastic result on the weekend, but I think we've got to survive. I know it's brilliant and we're on a high at the minute, which is nice to talk about positivity, but we've got to survive. Sean and Matty in the middle tomorrow, that'll be, says Craig over on Facebook, yeah, that'll be a good shout. But going back to Leicester, players to watch out for, this is obvious. For me, I've highlighted 3. Of course, we'll come to Perez in a moment, but these are if they play, and that's a big if because it's very difficult to predict either side here. That's why we're not doing any prediction videos on the start lineup. But Jamie Vardy, of course, we've seen his celebration on the weekend against Sheffield United. He doesn't like them. Obviously, he's a Wednesday fan. James Maddison, Again, Danny Simpson on Sunday was saying that he could go on to be world class. That's quite a big statement from Danny Simpson, but he's got all the creativity. He hasn't got the best pace in the world, but he's quick in the head, quick-minded, can turn, ping a pass, deadly set pieces, through balls. He's a threat again if he plays, and of course his midfield partner Yuri Tillemans. Of course, anybody who plays FIFA or Football Manager in the last 5 years, he's this wonder kid that everyone predicted, but maybe possibility went of Man United over the summer, but those are the three, assuming they all start, but I can't see all three of them starting, so I would probably go with probably Maddison for me. But like I say, it's you can choose whoever you want out of those three. Who is the best player out of those three? Let us know in the live chat right now. Who is the best out of Jamie Vardy, James Maddison, or Tillemans? Who would you have in that Newcastle side right now? For me, I'd go for Maddison. Newcastle lack a bit of creativity. For me, I know we've got Almiron, but I would love to see Maddison in there as well. Of course, we know about Jose Perez coming in as well. Look, does he start? Is the first question with Jose Perez. If he does celebrate, is he going to do that as well? Will he get booed? Will he get a round of applause? I think it's probably going to be maybe a mixture of possibly both. Again, it's going to be a young audience at St James's Park. It's not going to be your regular season ticket holders. You're going to get people who don't normally go to games, kids in particular as well. Let's see what he's saying. What does that say? Jacket. I can't say it that far out. Maddison. Luke says Tillemans. Stillion over on Facebook says Maddison. All of them over on Periscope as well. Yeah, look, the quality players, the whack in the Toon side, wouldn't they? But yeah, this man, let's talk a little bit about more him. So, Newcastle's top scorer, if you include all competitions in the last 2 seasons, finally got into double figures. Some might say he struggles first half of the season, always comes good after the new year, which is, history tells you that is true. Look, I think he's a little bit different player to what Leicester normally have, because he's not going to bag loads of goals. He'll not score more than 15 a season for them. Jamie Vardy's going to be that man, and Brendan Rodgers is playing to Vardy's strength and Perez in that pocket. Quite similar to, I wouldn't say he's on the same level as Maddison, but Maddison likes to get forward and slot the balls in. I think Perez will be in between Maddison and Vardy on a normal league game, but of course this is dependent on what side Brendan Rodgers puts out as well, and hopefully he doesn't score, but if he does score, hopefully he doesn't get, what's the word I'm looking for? Hopefully he doesn't take the mickey a little bit and start celebrating all of that in front of him. We didn't want none of that. To have a bit of respect both ways. I think if he is booed, I think he will celebrate. It's just because you give and take, haven't you? But Newcastle, more importantly, going into this game, there is a lot of injury doubts. We know this as well. Good shout out. We're going to mention this as well. Luke's made a very valid point about Bury and Bolton. I just want to come off topic dead quickly. I think it's a real shame that the bigger clubs, Bury are suffering financial reasons over the years because they've got huge clubs around them as well. In particular, Bolton, that's next door as well. The 2 Manchester clubs should be helping out, but when Gateshead went tits up, Newcastle weren't asked. Newcastle didn't help Gateshead out one bit. Gateshead might not have been a football club, but that is a real shame. We might touch upon that over the weekend. Hopefully Barry do survive as well. So going into injury doubts, Bruce's press conference this morning, it's 6 of them. We know that DeAndre Edlin's not going to feature, Florian's Rune's not going to feature, Andy Carroll's not, but these are the 6. You can class Lascelles and St. Maxim out straight away. Those 2 won't feature. I know that for a fact that they won't. I don't think Joe Linton will feature as well. Almiron probably needs a rest because he hasn't had a rest all summer. He was playing at Atlanta, came to us, went to the Copa America, had 2 weeks rest, so it'd be good for giving Almiron a rest. Fabian Schär like a play, but I do think Federico Fernandez and Kieran Clark will come back into that side, and Christian Atsu, who I have to say was absolutely fantastic, one of his best performances in Newcastle shirt on the weekend. He was absolutely sensational. When St. Maximin went off, I was really worried about Christian Atsu coming in, but you know what it is, he proved me wrong, he proved a lot of the critics wrong as well. He was absolutely sensational on the weekend. Everybody in the player rating, scoring rating, scored him high, and rightly so. Atsu, if he passes his knock, I think he'll start the game. Other players you could talk about as well. You know, if you look at this list here that I want to bring up that there is possibility that these will feature. This is the list that you would expect to feature at some point. There's no Jack Colback, there's no Henri Saivet, and there's no Ashraf Lazar. Henri Saivet has probably got the best chance out of those three that I've just listed to feature, but because he hasn't really had a pre-season, he's having his pre-season now because he's only just come back the last 10 days. But the players on your list, Carl Dole, I'm expecting him to come back in. Mankiw back in for Kraft. Mentioned already Fernandes and Clark. I expect Jetro Williams to either play left wing back or left back, depending if Bruce goes with 4 or 5 at the back, but it's probably going to be the wing back system. Matty Longstaff, if he doesn't start, I think he'll come off the bench. I think sung-yueng will come back in and start with along with Jonjo Shelvey. Even though Rolando Aarons wasn't named in that 25-man list, I'm expecting Aarons to actually start the game, or worst case scenario off the bench, but I'm expecting him to start because he's allowed to play in this game. And like I say already, Joe Linton as well is probably given it a rest, even if he passes his knock. But overall, this is it's going to be a difficult night, I feel. If Newcastle can get past this, that'll be 2 wins out of 2. And if we make it, I know this is a massive ask, don't get me wrong, if we make it 3 wins out of 3, Paul is going to be singing in his van. Paul's going to sing in his van, believe it or not. So if we can get 3 wins from 3, it's a massive ask, don't get me wrong. But keep an eye out for Paul. He's going to sing some Girls Aloud. But I'll let you choose a queen or whatever for that as well. Steve Bruce deserves more support. He does. Look, I think the win over Spurs was absolutely massive for him. I think that was a bigger win for him than it is for the club. Took it graciously. I think he was a bit cautious coming over to the fans because he's probably a little bit worried about the reception that he gets. So he didn't do that. Rafa would have came over and Rafa would have done all that. Rafa would have milked it as well. But I think a cup run, Bruce has mentioned this already, that he wants a cup run. If he can beat Leicester, that'll put out a statement for me. If we can make that 2 wins from 2 against top quality opposition in Spurs in Leicester, it brings us massive going into confidence on the weekend against a side that Watford, who are struggling confidence-wise. They're losing games. They've lost 3 in a row, but I think they've lost 6 in total. I know they had their mind on the FA Cup the back end of last season, but it's massive confidence boosted. There's no extra time. Of course, we're going to be there. We're going to be filming straight after as well. There's no post-match fan cams on that one. It's just our normal videos. It's going to be late at night, straight to penalties, no extra time as well. Let's have a look at what you're saying in the live chat as well. A good chance for Mutu, says Sam. I think he could do with a goal, couldn't he? Just to give Bruce a bit of food for thought as well. So what else we've got? £23 a good lineup for this season. Or 5-2-3, sorry. Yeah. It's because the live chat's so small as well. So Bruce has mentioned about this. And can we have a cup run? I mean, I've always gone on record and said that I would love Newcastle have a cup run. Been dying for one for ages. I mean, I grew up, as I mentioned already, numerous times on the channel. My first vivid full season that I remember was 95-96, the Keegan years, and then when we weren't doing that successful under Dalglish and Hull, we still had 2 cup finals, so it was still good times. And then Bobby comes in, which a lot of the national media keep forgetting that Newcastle finished 3rd, 4th, in the top 4, playing Champions League football. A lot of people forget that, the night to Inter Milan, Bellamy's winner against Final. These were great times. I know we had the season where we finished 5th with Ben Arfa, Cisse and Dembaba as well, but I would love a cup run just to have something different. People think it's a distraction. Bruce has already talked about it, that he wants to go far. If he is wanting to go far, that list that I showed up before, for me, you need to forget about that. Play your full strength squad if you can, because if you want to win, play your full strength as well. Where am I sitting? I've just seen that in the live chat as well. I'm sitting in the East Stand for change. I'll be with Kyle and Rob. Kyle's taking his nephew as well, but there'll be the 3 of us doing the videos tomorrow. So I like the view in the East Stand. Don't normally sit there. I've moved seat this season. I've switched across into the singing section into Gallagher, but I'll be in the East Stand with the lads as well. There'll be a quick match vlog, the score of the players, final word, last word, and a quick reaction from the game as well. Score predictions, fire them at the live chat before we wrap up as well. I want to know, are Newcastle going to win? Are they going to win? Are they going to lose? Are they going to win on penalties? Are they going to lose on penalties? Get them in the live chat as well. What else we've got coming up this week after the Leicester game? Of course, we're focusing, switching on back across. Is the game on TV? Says Anna. No, it's not, unfortunately. Where the away fans sitting, says Shay. I would imagine they'll be in two places. If they're not up at the Gods, it'll be to the east stand, the left, from if you're looking towards the Gallagher, if that makes sense. If you're looking straight at the Gallagher, it'll be to the left in that second corner in the corner. 2-0 Leicester, says Liam. David says 3-0. Who 3-0 to who, David, though? Us? To them? I think we can beat Watford on Saturday. Chris, late winners for the tune, says still in over on Facebook. 1-1 will win the game on penalties. Oh, that'll be a nervous tension. But Leicester. 1-0 on Periscope. Newcastle, Mutu. Fantastic. Well, Luke, it's amazing what the Spurs win can do, but with a bit of confidence, can't it? We're going to wrap up. Of course, stay tuned tomorrow as well. Just a quick live video that we'll put this all together for you as well. Thank you for watching, and thanks everybody if you're watching the rerun as well. Have a good night. Bye bye.
When I walk into the kitchen, you saw the look on my face. You saw the look on my heart to get out of this place. I seen something I've never seen before. When you put on the pineapple, we couldn't be friends anymore. Pineapple thousand, go on pizza. It's a